Hello friends, welcome to our second session on IBM SPSS Data Collection survey programming. I have the dummy questionnaire or example questionnaire for us to practice all the different type of questions that we saw in our previous session and how do we develop an online survey using dimensions. So this is my dummy questionnaire. I have the project information here, and then I have different sections in this questionnaire. So this is the screener section where we have some questions starting with naming convention as S1, S2, S3. These questions or this section is called screener questions because if the respondent doesn't qualify a certain question criteria, he would be terminating from the survey. So if you look at this S2 question, it says first of all this PN are nothing but the programmer nodes. So it's giving the instruction to the programmer, survey programmer, saying that this question should be asked to everyone. And here you have a programmer node saying that if S2 is less than 18, then terminate. So if the respondent is entering an age less than 18, he should be terminated. Then we have main questionnaire section where we are asking some main questions to the respondent. And then we have the demographic section where we are asking some demographic or profiling questions. This is the end of the questionnaire. So without any delay, we'll start scripting our questionnaire. I will go into base professional. So in base professional, I have already saved my survey programming file as with name my first survey.mdd. So when you are in base professional, when you click on file, new file, it would give you several file options to choose. As I'm doing the survey programming, I would choose the metadata file, which comes with .mdd extension. I would name that as my first survey. If you're doing data tabulation, you would choose my script basic file, mr script basic file, which comes with .mr script extension. And if you're doing any data manipulation, you would choose the .dms data management file, which comes with the extension as .dms. So these are the files where you write your script for different tasks. So I'm doing the survey programming, so I choose the metadata file and I have already saved that. When you open a new MDD file, it opens with 2 lines and 2 tabs. So metadata tab would have 2 lines included in it. Metadata, the locale that you are using. So by default, I have received the US locale. So this is the start and end of the metadata section. So in metadata, you would be defining several questions or answer options for the online survey. In the web tab or routing tab, you will be writing the logics, whether to hide or display certain questions or respondents to the respondent, or whether you would like to terminate that respondent on particular criteria based on the response he has given in the question. So in the questionnaire, I have my first question, which is S0, which says we would like to invite you to participate in a research study on behalf of a major vegetable seller. We don't have any options or text boxes to fill in, so this is just an information question. So it's an info type question. So I will put this in double quotes because this is a text, and we have to define a variable for it. So as a standard, we normally take the question number as variable name. So this is the variable which would capture the data or responses for this question. And the keyword is info and with semicolon. So this is the definition of the information question. I'll go into web. I would go into web portion. And then say S0 dot ask, save, run. So you can see your results in this browser section. So this is how the question would appear in the survey for the respondent. So it's giving just the information, nothing to choose. Next, we'll look at a second question in the questionnaire, which is a categorical single response question, which is again ask all question. So everyone should see this. We'll copy this text. Single response, right? So minimum 1, maximum 1. It's always good to use the codes that are given in the questionnaire. So these are pre-codes, code for each of the response that you have. So this response is having code as 1. So it's always good practice to use the codes that are given in the questionnaire. So in IBM SPSS Data Collection, a code or response code cannot start with a number. So I will add an underscore here. It's always good to use underscore. So I have created a categorical single response question with two options to choose. The first option is male and second option is female. As is the last option, we are not putting a comma there. Most of the programmers do that mistake. We should not put a comma there. Save this. In the routing section, we should ask it. So s1 dot ask, save, run. So this is my information question. Click next. This would be my gender question. What would happen if a respondent is skipping this question? It will give a message that the answer is missing. So it will not allow the respondent to go blank without answering the question. So we have to select any one option. It's a single response, right? So you have radio buttons there. Otherwise, for a multi-response, you would have checkboxes. Let's look at another question. So we have S2, which is the age question. So it's open numeric question or long question in our terminology keyword. So I'll copy this. So as I said, the numeric or integer questions are given a keyword by name long. S2 is the variable name, and then I'm giving the minimum value to be entered as 1 and maximum as 99. So respondent cannot enter a numeric value greater than 99 and less than 1. We are going to ask this. Ask, save, run. You can see it's giving the open numeric question where the respondent can enter the age. But if you look at the questionnaire, we also have a programmer note terminate if the respondent is less than 18. Right now we have not written the termination logic. So before we write the termination logic, we have to create some text to be displayed. Otherwise the respondent would be confused. We don't know why the survey got terminated. So we'll create information question saying terminate text. It would be an information question. So the message would be thank you for your help, but you do not qualify for this survey. We should, if the respondent is, this is the text to be displayed when the respondent is getting terminated, but we should also have a thank you message when the respondent has completed all the questions, answering all the questions. So let's say thank text. It would be an information question. We'll say thank you for completing this survey. So this would be the thank you message. Now we have to write a logic for this termination. So after the S2 is asked, we need to check if the value entered in S2 is less than 18. If it's less than 18, then go to a label called terminate. So we are going to create a label named terminate in our routing. This is a label, and what we would do, we would ask this or show this terminate text. Okay, you can, as it's an information question, you can also use show method, and then you would exit the survey, and if not, you would show the thank text dot show. So let's check this routing logic now. So when I run it, we first get the information section, then the gender question, then the age question. So if I say I'm entering 17, it should give me the terminate message. You see, it's giving thank you for your help, but you do not qualify for this survey. If we go back and enter age greater than 18, see, it's giving the thank you message there. So it's working well. So our termination logic is working well. So we will look at, we have completed information type question, single response categorical question, and open numeric question. Now it's time for categorical multi-response question, which says select all that apply. So it's again ask all question with some termination condition there. So I'll copy this text into our metadata section. Minimum one response, maximum can be anything because a single response, and these are my response codes. You can queue underscore for the response codes, and close the responses in double quotes. So for this multi-response categorical question, we have 4 options, out of which none of the above is a mutually exclusive response. So if a respondent is saying none of the above, he should not be able to choose any of this. So there is a keyword in IBM SPSS Data Collection. We can use it. So I will choose, say, the keyword as NA, no answer, which makes it mutually exclusive. So you can use NA, you can use REF, or you can use DK, but this is something related to none, so I'll just choose the code as NA. Save this. Let's give it the message that there is some mistake. Yeah, I had to define a variable for this S3. Yeah, everything is fine. This is the last, so we should not have a comma there. We have a variable to store the data. Now we need to ask that. So s3 dot ask, save, run. So we have our first information question. Then please indicate your gender. So second question, the numeric question. We will enter a age greater than 18 so that we don't get terminated and go to question 3. So the second question is 3. We get a third question there. So right now we don't have any termination logic on it because it says if not none of the above, it should be terminating. So it is a multi-response question, that's why we have checkboxes there, and it's showing the mutually exclusive question as bold. That's good thing, right? So the respondent knows that it's something, it's different from other responses. So what would happen, see if I select two things there and click on next. See, it's giving the SMS that error message that none of the above cannot be combined with other answers. Good, right? You don't have to much do hard work for that. Just NA keyword is enough. When I click on next, it would go to the thanking message because we were not terminated for this 3 questions. Good. So now I have to write a termination logic for this, which says if not none of these, then it should be terminated. So after S3 is asked, we will check get exit from this. So we'll check if S3 has any responses. So contains any is the function that we use. You have to include the codes which are there. So _1, _2, and _3, and close the for brackets, and then close the bracket for contains any, then close the bracket for the if condition, then go to terminate. It would go to terminate. I'm saying if any of these 3, code 1, 2, 3 are selected for S3, then it should be terminated. Go to this message. Right, let's check this. My first information question, the gender question, next. Let's see what will happen if I'm not selecting none of this. See, it's giving the termination message saying that thank you, but you do not qualify for this survey. If I go and choose select none of the above, I get the thanking message. So it's working fine. Now sometimes it's good, you can see that we are getting each question displayed on one page. It could be sometimes frustrating to the respondent going page by page, clicking next. So if you have a bunch of questions, some which are having smaller responses, you can put them on one single page. So there is an option available in IBM SPSS Data Collection. So what we do, let's say if I want to place my gender question and age question on one page. So I will create a page by name S1, S2 page. We can, if you want, you can give some text, display text to it. I'm giving a blank text there. Page is a function, and you have to enter the questions that you want to display on this same page. So this would define your page with some questions to be displayed. Now we have to go into the web. I will comment. You comment the script by using a single code in IBM SPSS Data Collection. Then I'll say S1, S2 page dot ask. Please note that the termination logic should be only after the S2 is asked, so it should be before termination logic. So I defined the page section here and also asking that question by commenting S1 and S2. Let's check this script now. The first question is information question. See, I have both gender and age displayed on the same page. Next would be my scripting S3 question to attack the survey. Right, we'll go for, these are again single response questions. I'm not covering this, you can do the practice on your own. I'll go for something different now. We did the information question, we did the categorical single response question, we did the numeric question, we did the categorical multi-response question. Now we'll go for open text or text question, which is again ask all. So this is saying the respondent to enter a vegetable name which comes to his mind first. So M1 would be my variable name for this, which would actually capture the verbatim or text entered by the response. So this is a text question. So the keyword would be text. You can give certain constraints to it that the user has to enter something in the text box. Let's say I am giving the 1 to 10. It would be a small text box. So let's give 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. Then semicolon to end the question. So this is how you define the text question in your script. And then you need to ask it. So M1 dot ask see, now the respondent can enter anything. So the text is captured in M1 variable. This is another open numeric question which is somewhat bigger in size, so you can give the constraint instead of 10. So instead of 10 there or 15 there, you can give 50 or 100, so that respondent can answer more number of vegetables text there. We'll go for another question which is M3, which is having a huge list with some subheadings in it. So I'll copy this text here. It's again ask all, and it's also saying to randomize the choices, to randomize this list. So M3 will be my variable name. It's a categorical minimum 1, maximum can be anything because it's multi-response. And then we have to define the options. So just ignore the subheadings. I have created a script here, so I'll copy this just to save some time. Right. We also have other and none of this. So this other specify is This other specify is actually a option which would enable the user to enter a open text which he thinks it's not displayed in this list to enter, and this none of this NA is give the it's a mutually exclusive thing. So if you want, you can keep the option as fixed there, so that we are going to randomize this, because as per the question instructions they want the list to be randomized for each of these questions. So they don't want all the questions to be displayed in the order in same, because there is sometimes a bias. The respondent always prefers to choose the brands or vegetables which are appearing on the top. So we want to remove that bias. So these are randomized. The positions are changed, randomized. So there is a keyword called rand. So before adding this, let's see how the survey would behave when we ask this question without using the randomized thing. So fix is just used for fixing the places of these two options there. So go for m3 dot ask. For time being, I would comment this section. I'll also comment this so that we directly see the M3 question. We don't want to waste time going through all the questions every time. So when we run, you get this M3 question with all the options to select, multi-response. See, you also get a text box to enter if you don't find anything to be selected for a selection in this. So you can choose whatever you want to choose. The respondent can choose anything that he wants to choose there. So right now the order is similar to the order that's coming from the questionnaire. We'll look at how to deal with the subheadings afterwards. So this is the order is coming. Right. Now we'll see the option for randomization. So you go and give the keyword called ran there. So once the options list is defined, you give the option ran, keyword ran, you run it. You see piece is coming first, so it's randomizing. Everything is changed. So that's the keyword we have to use for randomization. You can also use rotate. We have to exit from this. So you can use rotate, which will rotate the list. You can use ascending, descending. There are several keywords there. You can see it in the help file. So the instruction that we were having is to randomize. So we have to randomize this. We'll go for a second question, which is M4. It says that it should be asked to everyone, and you should display the brands or the vegetables which were chosen in M3. So you should display only the options which the respondent selected in M3. The list is same, but only the options selected in M3. So M4. It's a multi-response question, so categorical. One dot dot one. So the list is same. We can copy it from M3. but when you are asking M4, the instruction is to show only the categories or options which were selected in M3. So we need to filter that options first. For that, we go into routing and say M4. We go into routing and we write M4 dot categories dot filter equal to M3. So we are filtering the categories of M4 first based on M3, and then we will ask M4 dot ask. So when we run the survey, I would get M3 first. So I'm selecting tomato, potato, carrot. Where is carrot? Carrot. It's tomato, potato, carrot. And click on next. See, M4 would get tomato, potato, carrot randomized and with none added to it. Good, right? So that's how you can filter the responses based on previous questions. Now we'll go for another question. You have M5 now, where the responses are getting included from M4. We in general market as terminology, this is called as piping. So piping of responses from previous questions, or showing the responses selected from previous questions. For M4 it was from M3, M5 it is from M4. Copy this. It's a multi-response. So when we keep on copying this list, it's very difficult for us to make some changes when we are working on a study which is having long list of questions or options or brands. So we have the option of defining this option list once in our script and then use it for multiple questions anywhere, anytime. So I'll copy this entire list. We need to define this list before all the questions are defined. So let's name this as brand list. This is the name, and we need to say keyword define. It's always good to remove this to mutually exclusive special responses from the list. And now the last option would become cauliflower, so we need to remove this comma there. Yes, I understand I need to complete that S5 there, M5. So the keyword to use that list is use brand list. So I can use this list, brand list, anywhere I want. So M5 will use this brand list. We can use the same thing even at M4 and M3. So when you are making changes, you're just making them at single point, which is here. Right. Now we were also having one instruction which was to display the brands at M5 which were chosen at M4. So we need to change that logic. It's similar to M4, but instead of M4 we'll say M5.category.filter is equal to M4. So take the responses from M4 and then ask M5. When we run, I get the M3 first. So I'll choose tomato, potato, carrot, radish. Tomato, potato, carrot, radish. Right. Tomato, potato, carrot, radish are there in M4 now. So I'll select tomato, potato to be piped in for M5. I get only tomato, potato. Right. It's working well. So as per the questionnaire instructions, the responses are getting filtered as we go and proceed into next and next questions.